This is Sherri, and this is Real Estate Tips with SNL. Today, we are so fortunate to have Kim and Peter McDonald with us as our guests, and I was hoping that you would share a little bit about you before we start on all those questions. So, Kim, tell us how long you've been in the business, and tell us the name of your company.
Okay, thanks for having us. Peter and Kim McDonald, we're LAER Realty partners. We started in the early 80s, 1983 and 1985, so it's been a long career. This is all we've done.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's pretty long.
Yeah. I graduated high school in 1983.
Oh, here it goes.
Okay, we're old.
There it is. Yeah.
Who's old?
So, you've been obviously in the business a long time, and you have definitely seen the spikes and the drops in real estate. Would you mind sharing a little bit about what those experiences were? What you saw as real estate professionals?
Well, each time the market changes or declines, it's been different. In the late 80s, there was a decline based on the lending practices, which brought everything down. Mm-hmm. And the recovery from that was a little more protracted than others. And then we had the late 2007, 2008, which was caused more by the stock market, which, again, they say it recovered in a couple of years. Being in the business, I felt it took a lot longer than that.
I do.
But each and every time, it had its different factors that made it unique in itself. So.
Yeah, I call it the roller coaster. The roller coaster, the dips, the dips, the ups, the downs.
I think it's a perfect description. For
it's certainly a challenge for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, how do you feel that right now we're on that up on the roller coaster, and a lot of people are asking, if we had a crystal ball, what we saw, happen and what we potentially could see happening, which again, that crystal ball doesn't exist, but what feels different this time than what we went through in 2007 and 2008?
Well, I don't feel there's anything to compare it to because it's so unique with the different factors that cause it to take place between the coronavirus, interest rates being so low, and the shortage of inventory. Those three things have never been together in sort of like the perfect storm. So right now, things seem stable. I think they'll probably be stable through another year. Hopefully interest rates will stay down. Mm-hmm. But at some point, we've got to pay back for what's, the cures that have been put out by the government and the actions that have been put in place.
So when sellers say to me all the time, they call me up and they're like, so is this still okay? Is this still a seller's market? I mean, do you believe that it will sustain this gradual uphill, or do you think we're going to have some stability out for the remaining of the year?
I think it's going to stay for the remainder of the year. Mm-hmm. With COVID, it was very interesting to me because I thought, well, my career is over.
Oh, right.
How do we show property during this pandemic?
Yeah,
right.
And it was just the opposite, and it's just amazing that it's continued.
Yeah,
everything, all the stars are aligned, and I think it's going to continue.
Yeah,
I feel the same.
Well, if anything, I think after a year or so, it may flatten out. I just don't see a steep decline. Again, I'm not the guru, but just in my past experiences, there's no great indicators because inventory is being built back up. People are going back to work. The shortages are going away. Yeah. I mean, these are all good factors.
Don't you feel like our area was a little bit undervalued too, so that we did need to have a little bit of a rise anyways? I mean, if you just go right outside our market area, there's a steep price increase.
It's always been that way.
Right. So now I feel like it was okay for us to do this little bit of rise up. And then with the people coming in, because they were working out at home, they're coming from the city, and it brought our values. That's one of the reasons it did, right? So I think it can hold that stability. But I don't know, and I think I have to agree with you. I don't think it's going to be that nosedive that we had before. I think it might just be a little roller coaster.
I think it'll level off though, because I'm seeing, I don't know what you're seeing, but if you put a listing on the market and you didn't have 15 calls and showings in 10 minutes,
right,
then it just was crazy.
Yeah.
Now I see a little bit more time.
Yes.
Right.
Seeing a little bit of price adjustments here and there. Mm-hmm. But if it's the right property and the right price and the right location, it's gone.
Right. But I agree with you. I feel like sometimes it's seasonal. Here we are, June going into July. And it is that summertime where, now that people are finally out and about and going on vacations and, getting close to each other. Right, right. So maybe the open houses aren't going to be as crazy, and maybe there's going to be a little bit of balance coming in.
Normalcy?
That would be nice. That would be our new normal. Our new normal.
To make on Lana's point, I just think the whole dynamic of the buyer has changed, whereas the values were bigger down in Metro West, down closer to Boston, because everybody wanted to be there because of the jobs.
Right.
Now that the whole job situation has changed, and again, a lot of those people will be going back to those office buildings, but a lot of them won't.
Right.
And that'll help sustain the values out west here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
also driven
it's a
the
whole
market
different
too.
thing.
There's a lot of people in the city. I've experienced a lot of people coming out looking at my listings from the city that don't want to be in the city any longer, and they're coming out and settling into more country.
And even if they do have to go back to work 1 or 2 days a week, because I've heard they don't all have to go 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mind that commute for a couple of days, but they're not doing it 5 days. So it's going to keep them staying here for a little bit while.
Yeah.
And it's still, even though our prices have risen, it's still affordable because the prices have risen out there too.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
I mean, the prices to the east are just insane, in my opinion. But.
Yeah, well, hopefully those interest rates will stay low.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what the future. We'll see if these predictions are true and what the future brings. But if you'd like to find Peter and Kim McDonald, you can find them in Leominster over at LAER Realty Partners. Myself and Lana, we're over at Coldwell Banker in Leominster, and we're glad that you tuned in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.